Orrin, will you please tell us who you are and what kind of problems do you solve with your business?
Sure. My name is Orrin Klopper. I fill the CEO role at Netsurit and have done for a long time. Yeah, the problems that are consuming me and I'm trying to solve are the rapid growth. And whilst going on this really accelerated growth journey, how do we protect the people-centric culture that we have, and how do we protect the quality of what we're doing for our customers, and not only protect but really amplify it, leveraging those economies of scale. So those are some of the things I'm thinking about.
Well, those are great things to think about because, let's be honest, a lot of people never are going to run a business more than 2 years, let alone 20. How many years have you been running your business?
Yeah, it's close to 25 years now.
Woo! That is awesome. And to do that by the time you're 40 years old is amazing. And so this is going to be a really fun interview to figure out how you did that.
No, for sure. And just to clarify, I'm 48, but if that was a compliment, I'll take it.
It was a compliment. By the way, I'm the same age. So
you got less gray hair Orrin, than I do, that's for sure.
I just keep shaving it off. I'm really gray from here down. But anyway, we digress. So Orrin, talk to us about this business because the concerns that you just brought up are concerns that a lot of newer business founders don't think about, but they're hugely important as you're in a growth and scaling mode. How is your business different now with the concerns you're talking about versus when you started? And what kind of things got you to where you're at? I mean, how do you build a sustainable business that will continue to grow and modify and tweak and modify and tweak and build and grow the way you have over the years?
Yeah, so when I look at when we kind of arrived at a semblance of our purpose, it was during 1999, leading up to Y2K. And I just felt this sense of deep meaning that there's this entrepreneurial part of the economy, which is kind of small to medium-sized businesses that could benefit hugely from a good technology services partner. And that's where we arrived at our focus and really the sort of customer dynamic of our purpose. And I remember thinking, so I was at university in 94, a friend of mine invited me to come and sell computers and engineering calculators for him in 95. And then I remember when I really sort of said I'd do this full time, there was the guy who came first in my information systems class who said he wanted to join us. And there was suddenly a couple of people that were keen to join us. And I can remember thinking, this is amazing, but I didn't understand why. And not like we were paying big salaries or anything. So it was just an interesting and exciting time. And so I think really early on, kind of why have we grown and why have we, achieved some level of success is, I think from the beginning, it was never just one person. And I think we managed to bring some really great people on this journey with us from the very, very, very early days.
I love that.
And then I think we were fortunate enough to find a meaningful purpose in the early days of the business. So those are two big pieces that I think, and then probably the piece that I think has kept us on track. And some years we've had tough years, and other years it feels like the wind's at our back, and that's the journey of being an entrepreneur.
Right.
I think in 2001 we raised some debt to fund our growth. And I realized I've never really had a job, and suddenly we had what at that time seemed like a ridiculously huge amount of money. And I said, I need to go and study something so that that I can kind of not just wing the site. I signed up to do an MBA, which I never finished, but I got quite far, and I was able to do all the modules and the assignments on our business. And out of that, I took a quite a simple and nice strategic planning process. So we've run that every year for probably, almost 20 years now. And it makes us look in the mirror hard and like, where we at, what's working,
Wow.
what's not working. So those would probably be some of the things that I think have enabled us to grow and thrive.
Orrin, this is really, really funny. I promised to my audience I did not give the script to Orrin of what to say here, because honestly, like I've said this probably a million times, Orrin, it's always people, it's always processes, and it's always tools. And those are the first three things you brought up. I mean, people, processes, tools are the things that you have to keep in mind in order to effectively grow and scale. You got to have the right people on the bus. You got to have the tools to measure and to build and grow and keep things aligned. And then you got to have, this process or this vision that aligns all the teams so that you do know where you're going, and you stay accustomed to what everyone's really building towards. Is that a fair summary of what you just talked about up to this point?
No, it definitely resonates, and I think it's a simpler
Awesome.
way of articulating it.
I love it. No, listen, it's funny to me when people like you who have been operating in the same environment, same ecosystem this whole time, in the 20 plus years you've been in business, I find that you guys really understand, you really understand your clients, you really understand how your team operates, you really understand what you're good at, and that's why you've been able to maintain a steady pace of growth. Now, I find it interesting, though, that in the first part of the conversation, you talked about one of the big challenges you're facing is how to deal with rapid growth that you're involved in right now. Now, your industry, when I think of IT security and the many facets of security, walk us through why you're seeing rapid growth right now when it's a way different environment than Y2K
Yeah,
in
for sure.
today's world. Doing that.
Look, it's through no, like we're trying very hard to succeed at the organic growth. I mean, probably got like low
Right.
double-digit organic growth across the business. It's unbelievably competitive. Over 20,000 MSPs, which is an acronym for the type of company we are, MSPs
Yeah.
in the United States alone. And so
Crazy.
everybody says they can look after your IT or they can look after your security. So it's very hard to differentiate yourself. And so
Right.
that's where we really invested heavily in differentiating what we call our blue ocean offering, where we looked at, okay, so they expect you to do a good job of the managed services. They expect you to do a good job of the managed security. That's just table stakes. But to really
Right.
differentiate, we realized we had to come up with something different. And we saw in our ideal customer profile being 1,000 to 25 user environments, they were using Office 365 as the technology stack predominantly, and that's kind of our core skill set and what we focus on. And then Microsoft's Power
Interesting.
Platform technology stack has quite a lot of automation tools in it. So we say to our customers, for $2,000 a month, we will provide an innovation managed service where we'll find $24,000 worth of ROI in a 12-month period, or we carry on working until we do. And that
Wow.
is really, I think, Todd has helped us
I
get
like that.
in front of new customers, and it's bringing another level of value. You know, our purpose is supporting
Right.
the dreams of the doers, and in the customer context, it's like we want to add real value to our customers' business. So
Right.
this offering's just over 2 years old now. Like any new offering, it wasn't a slam dunk straight away. we've had to do
You
some
sure
of,
thought it would be, though, didn't you?
yeah. Geez, I mean, to be honest, like he's talking about the dynamic of surrounding yourself with the right people. I'm a good
Right.
starter. I'm not a great finisher. And like I can tell you now, if I'd my impatience with this offering, it's a whole nother conversation. But I just assume it's like, this is amazing. It should just fly. The customers
Right.
should love it. Our people should sell it like flipping donuts on a Friday.
Right.
But it's
Right.
been heavy lifting.
Running a business, honestly, can leave a lot of founders and operators feeling lonely and isolated. If you have ever felt that way, trust me, I know what it feels like. And there is something you can do about it. You've heard a lot of our guests talk about the fact that being lonely and isolated is one of their biggest challenges in trying to run and scale their business. captainscouncil.com. Go to captainscouncil.com right now and see what we're doing to resolve this problem. We want you to be a strong operator who has solutions and has a way to get around the challenges you're currently facing. What most founders don't understand is that you're not alone. The challenges that you're facing, likely somebody else has already overcome, and they can give you the feedback you need to overcome them. Who better than your peers, other founders, other operators who are joining with you in a small group setting, a global community setting, as well as at our in-person events to guide you through these challenges that you're facing right now. Don't give up, keep on pushing, but do it with some good advice from your peers. Go check it out at captainscouncil.com and let me know what you think about the offering. We can't wait to see you there. That's funny. It is so true, right? I mean, every business assumes that what they're developing right now is going to be the best solution ever for their avatar.
Yes.
And
Yes.
yet we usually miss it by a mile.
Yeah.
But the people that find success are the ones that can see that differential and tighten it up.
Yeah. No, I actually read a book called The Human Element by Laurent Norgren and David Schronthal. And these guys have actually gone in and understood the science and maths of changing human behavior within an organization. So we actually reached out to them. They're both professors at one of the top Ivy League universities. I can't remember the name offhand, but it's a whole field around how do you drive change within a business. Like even when I look at when we initially implemented the balanced scorecard, which is like an OKR type methodology, we implemented that years ago. It was heavy lifting and change. You just thought, wow, it's really clear how you're going to have your performance measured. Isn't that a great thing? And it's that change management as you grow in headcount is definitely, it's more complex, and it's a lot harder than I'd hoped or estimated.
Right. I definitely agree with you. And having been through those growth motions myself, I know that the larger it gets, there are some nuances that if you don't nail down early, it makes it more and more difficult to adapt later on as you grow. But if you can nail them early by listening to people like you or communities or peer groups or what have you, those types of connections tend to help you shortcut the path to learning what you need to know in order to grow and scale. Can you speak to that for a minute? Because I know you've been really involved in some peer groups and things like that. How has that affected your ability to manage your growth?
So I can't even imagine my life without that. And it's not even just the business perspective, just like the personal side as well. And so I joined Entrepreneurs Organization as early as 2003. And then I joined YPO, I think it was 2010 or 2011. I can't remember exactly. And both of those organizations, Todd, have just been unbelievable in supporting my growth. EO have this amazing, both EO and YPO have this amazing thing called Forum, where you meet once a month in that group of, it can be anywhere from 6 to 8 other entrepreneurs, and you get to know each other really, really well. You can present a topic, and then there's a methodology of them giving feedback, which is called Gestalt, which is the idea of sharing feedback from experience and not just like giving advice. Man, I could literally wax on lyrically for hours and long lists on what these peer groups have done for me in my life. When we bought the first business we bought in the US, we bought in Brooklyn in 2016. So I just moved to New York in 2016. I had friends, but I had no family. I really didn't have a network, and I joined the New York chapter of EO. I joined the Manhattan chapter of YPO. So I instantly had this community of people that were connected that cared,
Right.
that supported me. I mean,